Alrighty, so we're actually talking about something that Hunter thought of today, which I thought was very nice and clever. But first, if you guys want to support me and Hunter on Patreon, you guys should do that.
That's a lie. I don't get money from this.
And, well, I mean, it's still you. It's just you in a different capacity. It's like the channel. And you are part of the channel. You are a channel entity. Anyway, and if you guys want to join the Discord server, our Patreon now says Hunter and Cal are making videos. It doesn't say Hunter, or it doesn't say just me.
Listen, right, like, I disagree in my involvement.
Anyway, Hunter thought of this idea that Lionheart sent all of these huntsmen out so Crow wouldn't be able to go get them. Or at least, like, they manipulated Lionheart manipulated the council to do it, and he basically maybe sent them to their deaths. And so, Hunter, would you like to explain your idea before I get into what I thought of your idea?
Okay, I feel like you're saying that I'm explaining my idea, and yet it was kind of, like, there and obvious. Because earlier on, like, I think in the first episode, when we first meet
Crow's just
Lionheart,
like, all the huntsmen are busy, like, Lionheart
busy.
says.
Like, we're trying to wrap this shit up. What do you want?
Like, I feel like that was a lie, though. I feel like they weren't busy, and then they were sent out, or at least they were sent out in advance, if that makes sense. Like, if Crow knew that this was gonna maybe happen, or if Lionheart knew that maybe this was gonna happen, and so I don't want to say they preemptively sent all the huntsmen away, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Basically weakening that's what they were talking about at the beginning. It's like, you mean this is basically an open, like, there's no one protecting the relic, which is basically all they want.
And so I have some ideas.
It served the additional purpose of meaning that Crow, I mean, he probably didn't know he was coming, but no allies. Yeah. If there were.
So here, I mean, I don't know. I think they knew that they were coming because Tyrion would have reported back, and then Watts would have been like, hey, listen. Crow's headed,
that's also
right?
true.
And so, because Crow or Tyrion interacted with them, and so I'm guessing it went down the chain of command and they all figured it out. So, here's basically what I have a couple ideas. So, they were already gone on missions because Lionheart sent them, however, they naturally died. Like, that it's just because they were fixing the kingdom. It wasn't because Lionheart had anything too malicious about it, but it was still kind of malicious. Does that make sense?
Yes.
My second idea is that they knew Crow was coming, so they sent all of the huntsmen away. And then when they were sent away, they would come in contact with either Watts or Hazel or a Grimm, and the Grimm would keep them further occupied, let's say. The fourth idea, or the third idea I have is that Lionheart basically did all that, but they basically ran into the clutches of somebody from Salem, say again, a giant Grimm, and that Grimm slaughtered them. And so all of these people are dead. Because obviously they don't want any huntsmen coming back to protect the schools. And I think that is more likely. I think that it's more likely that Lionheart sent all of these people away preemptively, and they have already died either by Watts or by someone else. Now, it gets a little complicated for me anyway, because Salem is the sort of villain that says, do not underestimate the usefulness of others, right? And so she either thought that Crow's friends were unuseful to her, or, like, it wasn't a direct order from her. Because if she thought that they would have been useful into changing, I guess, the tides, you could say, she would have kept them, because she is the friendship villain, and that is kind of what she does. However, it seems like either they weren't useful to her, and so she was like, nah, they can die, it's okay. Or it was Watts' idea, and he didn't really pass it through, because we've seen this sort of situation before, where somebody on Salem's side has an idea, they do not consider that idea with Salem, and then Salem gets angry at them. Like, for example, how Tyrion tries to kill Crow, and first he failed at getting Ruby, so she was mad, but she didn't want Crow dead, and then she got mad again because even, like, Crow didn't actually die, so he failed, like, 3 times on that front. Like, he failed at killing Ruby, he failed at killing Crow, and then she didn't want him to kill Crow anyway, and so that was, like, a triple fail. Like, it was a gold fail. It was a gold tier fail. You understand, Hunter?
Sure.
And so I feel like, in that regard, in terms of Lionheart, I feel like Watts could have set it up, and then Salem is gonna scald her. Because, like, Salem scalded Cinder, remember? She was like, keeping Ruby alive, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, working with bandits, right? So, like,
yeah.
obviously Salem doesn't want everyone dead, right? And so we kind of have to wonder who did this. Either way, I think that it's more likely that Lionheart sent them away and now they're dead. Like, they are floating at the bottom of the ocean, like Uma would say.
Which is a shame, because, like, I was looking forward to seeing
I know,
Crow's,
I was so excited.
Huntsman buddies.
But they're dead. Like,
they're
they're
dead.
probably all dead. It would be interesting if they did come back, though,
Like
when
the-
they said,
like
we've
the
seen some
mom
scary
one.
Grimm, we're all gonna quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also love that's basically, because we don't really know why
'Cause-
Raven quit, but her, like, reasoning that you can deduce now is basically, like, I learned that Salem, I was like, spooky ghost lady, fuck that, and I dipped. That's what happened.
I don't think that's exactly. Well,
I mean, I don't, but that's
that.
all we really, that's what it made it seem like, because all she basically said was like, you know what he hid from me? There was
Well,
a
it was
spooky
more like, I
grim
think that
ghost
it's
lady.
more like for Raven, is that she found out that Salem couldn't be stopped, and then Summer died, and that was her last straw. That was her turning, like, that was her pushing point. We know that she left before that for other reasons, maybe just to take over the tribe, but maybe she didn't necessarily hate Ozpin at that point. Now she's like, well, fuck you.
But
like,
the way,
Salem
because
or
they never
Summer
actually
died
gave
for nothing.
reasons other than, like, spooky Salem lady. So I find the idea that she was just like, I learned that the world is a lot wider and more dangerous than I had originally thought.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I'm out. Like, I love that idea.
That's true, but, like, maybe she just wants to live the rest of her life in bandit luxury. I don't know. That's what I would do. But yeah, I think that I think your idea is interesting. I think Lionheart totally just sent them to die. Like, I feel like that they all went on separate missions, and then maybe they ran into, say, Nuck Nuck, and they're all dead. Now, here's
Fucking
something
Nuck Nuck.
interesting, is that there was a huntsman that Team RWBY interacted with, right? And we don't really know the timeline on that, but it would be interesting if the huntsman that went to go protect that village that they were in before they fought Tyrion, you know what I'm talking about, in Volume 4, was one of those huntsmen that Lionheart intentionally sent on a mission to die because he knew that Nuck Nuck was going there. And so I feel like that would be super interesting. Because obviously Salem is now master of the Grimm. She's probably controlling Nuck Nuck and where Nuck Nuck was headed before Nuck Nuck died. And so
Nuck Nuck. Poor Nuck Nuck.
I know.
For such a horrible demon, he has such a wonderful name.
And so you understand what I'm saying. So I feel like in that sense, that is kind of where we're at right now. Like, I feel like Lionheart did this entirely intentionally. And so that would be an interesting connection if the people at Xion, was that it?
Xion who?
What village died?
Kurayuri?
No, that was Ren's. I mean before that, when when that huntsman was lying down on the ground or whatever, and they found him or something. And
I don't remember.
Anyway, it was a village.
Didn't they end up saving that guy? No, he died.
No, he dead.
Yeah.
He dead though.
He died.
Yeah, and so I think that would be an interesting connection if Crow or Team RWBY decides to kind of remind Crow of that somehow, or Team RWBY, Team Ranger, I suppose. And Crow was like, "Wait a second, that's like."
Well, it's not Team Ranger
that's
anymore.
molasses. I don't know, like.
It's like Juniper -1, Ruby -1.
I mean, now Juniper could turn into Team Orange. And then Team RWBY could just be Team RWBY.
Or they could be like, listen, right? Like, fuck the teams. We're in this together.
I guess so. It depends. But it would be interesting if they were able to combine the team names in some way. I don't know how they do that, but it would be nice. Like, they could do, like, if they did do Team Orange, Orange could be at the front, and then, like, maybe you could have the RWBY letters
then
mixed
Oscar
in somehow.
would be leading it, I suppose.
I mean, he's Ozpin, so he's kind of leading everything. Anyway, the point is that huntsman died, and it was probably because of Lionheart. I would really like that, because then I feel like Crow would think that Lionheart was more of a shithead, but then that would be comparable to, like, Ozpin doing the same thing. Does that make sense? Like, Lionheart has so far gotten all of his best ideas from shit that Ozpin's done and have gotten away with, right? Like having Cinder and them forge their transcripts, like turning a blind eye to the rules, right? Sending huntsmen on missions that they die on, right? Like he did with Summer. And so Crow could, like, I don't want to say beat up Lionheart, but be like you, like, sent these people to die. They have, spouses and they have children. And then Lionheart could be like, well, Ozpin did the exact exact same thing, you little bitch, but you didn't seem to mind then, and they could get into, like, a fist fight, basically. I think that would be nice.
I can't imagine Lionheart being particularly tasty in a fight, but I digress.
I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you for Hunter for this idea. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for Hunter.
Thank you for Hunter. If you guys want to join our Discord server, we have a Hunter appreciation chat.
I don't know why
where you can leave all of your favorite messages for Hunter.
Like, the longest message I thought would be heartfelt, but it was all about how I'm supposed to take care of you, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Not really!
Yes,
that wasn't what it was.
I read it, that's entire... And I was just like, come on now, she's not that good. You're not around enough. You don't know.
Okay. That's one of the moderators. I can't believe that you just said that. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed becoming Patreons,
it was sweet,
all of that stuff.
Right? But it was also like, you gotta take care of her. I'm like, you don't know how fierce... You do not know how fierce Calxiyn is. If anything, I need to be protected.
Okay.
Possibly
That's
from
what the
her.
chat is for, so don't worry. Anyway, guys, we'll see you later. Bye-bye!